is bent on ensuring that the power sector supports the development of all other critical sectors in the country.
Federal government touts 2-year energy reform success, vows to sustain growth for economic revolution.
We almost join hands in making sure that safe motherhood is a reality in every village, in every ward, and in every home.
Nigeria launches 5-year safe motherhood blueprint to end maternal deaths by 2028.
Not only our feet, but our hearts also.
Christmas Mass on Holy Thursday, churches reenact Jesus' Last Supper act of love, embodying service as sacrifice. Earlier today, sometime in the afternoon, the skies gifted us a moment of cosmic magic, a breathtaking dark ring encircling the sun, turning day into an almost dreamlike spectacle. This video was taken by a colleague of mine while she was on her way to the office this afternoon, and I would like to share excerpts of the accompanying words she sent to my producer. And I quote, "It reminded me of something more, and I wonder, could it be saying something to us? Tomorrow is Good Friday, the solemn day we remember the crucifixion of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Maybe, just maybe, this celestial crown is nature's way of drawing our gaze upward, nudging us to reflect on something greater than ourselves." End of quote. Indeed, lovely words for a beautiful sight. Good evening and welcome to Network News. I am Juma Yusuf. Reading with me tonight are Benny Adams with the business news and Francisca Belle, who will be bringing us the latest news from the world of sports much later. Remember, you can watch this newscast live on the go on any of our social media platforms. Thank you very much for joining us. And for our post today, we are focusing on Nigeria's seeming penchant for Ponzi schemes. Despite repeated warnings and high-profile collapses of these investment schemes, many Nigerians continue to fall victim to fraudulent financial platforms promising unrealistic returns. These schemes have left thousands in ruin. Yet, their appeal persists. Tonight, we are asking, why? Is it desperation born out of economic hardship? Is it a function of gaps in financial education or trust in close-knit community networks? Is it possible that the powerful lure of quick wealth is the major reason? Share your voice in our poll. What do you believe is the primary reason so many Nigerians remain vulnerable to Ponzi schemes, even after countless failures? We will be sharing our findings with you before the end of this newscast. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, the presidency has affirmed its position that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu remains fully engaged in Nigeria's governance, even though he's away in Europe. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, explains that the president's absence remains temporary and is in line with the communicated time frame of approximately 2 weeks. It adds that the president left Paris for London at the weekend and has maintained constant communication with key government officials, overseeing critical national matters, including directives to security chiefs to address emerging threats in some parts of the country. The statement reveals that President Tinubu will return to Abuja and resume duties at Aso Villa after the Easter holiday. It reaffirms the president's commitment to his duties, stating that the administration continues to function effectively under his leadership. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, is insisting on the modernization of public-owned broadcasting stations in Nigeria. He made this position known at the ongoing ministerial press briefing at the National Press Center, Abuja. Saliu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Federal Executive Council members give account of stewardship as ministers within the last 2 years.
Nigerians are better informed now.
The rules of engagement did not change as the host minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, used the platform to update Nigerians about ongoing efforts to accelerate the transformation of the nation's media ecosystem.
I have only recently returned from a trip that took me, together with some of the heads of agencies, to the American National Association of Broadcasters NAB conference and workshop in Las Vegas, USA, under the theme, the technology, the trend, and the future. Following this trip also, I was in France recently for the Nigerian Business Forum hosted by the French government's Business France Enterprise. On the sidelines of those activities also, I met with the executives of United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, to further fine-tune the imminent takeoff of the first of its kind Media and Information Literacy Institute that Nigeria will be hosting here in Abuja. That institute will go a long way towards strengthening Nigeria's media environment and supporting journalists to carry out their functions even more effectively.
As the administration gets closer to its mid-term, he reaffirmed the status of the media under the Tinubu administration as powerful in the democratic evolution that is open to enjoy government support. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government says the reforms in the power sector has increased power generation and distribution in the last 2 years and will be sustained to accelerate economic development. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu gave the assurance at the ministerial press briefing in Abuja. Joshua Ojito reports.
It's the turn of the power sector at the ongoing ministerial briefing as the present administration gives scorecard of stewardship in the last 2 years. From generation to transmission, as well as distribution, reforms in the sector, federal government says is addressing market liquidity challenge, thereby raising revenue with 700 billion naira in 2024, as 11 states have established their electricity markets. For the first time in Nigeria's history, peak power generation hit 6,003 megawatts, with targets to generate, transmit, and distribute 8,000 megawatts by 2027. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu says more investments have been made in the last 2 years to strengthen transmission capacity, with plans to regionalize the national grid through introduction of Eastern and Western supergrid.
So we're in the initial phases of developing the Makodi hydro project and revitalizing the Kaduna Thermal plant. Makodi hydro project is a large hydro project of about 1,500 megawatts, because we need to start planning for the future.
On the renewable energy subsector, more communities, public buildings, educational and health institutions have been connected with solar mini grids to close energy gap.
This government is bent on ensuring that the power sector supports the development of all other critical sectors in the country.
Sustaining the trajectory, the power minister says challenges of vandalism, power theft, and poor investment must be tackled. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
And to agriculture, the agri-business value chain in the southeast zone of the country, especially Ebonyi State, will soon become more viable when the Calabar, Ebonyi, Benue, Nasarawa, Abuja highway is completed. At the flag-off ceremony of the Section 1 of the road project in Ebonyi State, President Tinubu, represented by the Ebonyi State Governor Francis Uwefuru, expresses the resolve by his administration to reunite Nigerians through his legacy projects across the country.
Not only to open access to markets, not only to ease the movement of goods and services, but to reconnect the Nigerian people into a deeper, more fundamental way. And I want to promise the people of Ebonyi State that not only that the project will be completed at the designated time, but it will be completed with a very high quality.
We were relegated to the background. Even before now, until President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, Under me, 8 years, I could not lay hands on any federal project in this state. Let me tell you that the way it is happening in other zones, now so it happen in the southeast.
Minister of Works David Umahi, amongst other personalities, lauds the initiative of President Tinubu to complete all ongoing road projects as well as constructing new ones that will connect all economic corridors across the country. They urge Ebonyi people and other Nigerians to continue to support the federal government to ensure the road projects are completed within the time frame. Construction of 65-kilometer three-lane dual carriageway as a component of the 750-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, Section 3A and 3B in Cross River State has also commenced. With targets to cut staggering maternal death toll by 20% and under-5 mortality by 15% by 2027, the federal government of Nigeria has unveiled guidelines and documents to ensure safer births and a healthier future for mothers and their babies. Minister of Health and Social Welfare Professor Ali Pati, while unveiling the documents in commemoration of the 2025 Safe Motherhood Day in Abuja, said maternal health is a collective responsibility from governments, families to frontline health workers.
The theme of this year's celebration, Innovating for Safer Birth, a collective responsibility to crush maternal mortality, calls on all of us, governments, health professionals, the amazing health professionals that work in the front lines, our development partners, WHO, UNFPA, and many others, and communities and our leaders to take ownership of this shared mission to make childbirth safe for every Nigerian woman.
This is a day that is dedicated to the well-being of mothers and newborns across our country, Nigeria. Today we come together not only to reflect, but to act, to forge partnerships, share innovations, and accelerate solutions for a safer country.
Emphasis was laid on community engagement as crucial in tackling cultural, social, and economic factors contributing to high maternal and newborn death in the country. The theme for this year's Safe Motherhood Day is Innovation for Safer Birth, Collective Responsibility to Crush Maternal Mortality. And for the federal government to deliver its renewed hope agenda in health, there must be complementary and sustained interventions by critical stakeholders in and outside the sector. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, said this while presenting another batch of 10,000 professional kits to frontline health workers, this time in the southwest geopolitical zone. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo tells us more.
Like their counterparts in 4 other geopolitical zones, who have already taken their own allocation of personal protective gears from the Renewed Hope Initiative, midwives in Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, Osun, and Ondo states now have one less challenge to worry about as they take delivery of their own scrubs and crocs from RHI. Presenting the kits to them in Akure, Ondo State, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says the intervention is to complement ongoing federal government retraining exercise for 120,000 healthcare workers across the country.
Informed that 60,470 health workers have already completed their training, and that is why the Renewed Hope Initiative procured 60,000 branded scrubs and 60,000 pairs of crocs as an incentive to encourage and support the tireless dedication of our midwives. This donation has been made possible through the generous support from an anonymous global partner dedicated to improving health outcomes for our citizens. The donor is committed to supporting the Organization of African First Ladies for Development and the healthcare sector in Nigeria, with a specific focus on reducing infant and maternal morbidity and mortality.
We assure you of our full support in every of your initiatives. We look forward to more collaboration in working together to build a brighter future for all our citizens.
Your Excellency has set out to empower, to motivate about 40% of the registered midwives in our country. What we are doing, Your Excellency, is creating a critical mass of motivated and empowered professionals that can help us to deliver on the agenda of Mr. President.
Under the Economic Empowerment Program of RHI, the First Lady empowered 1,000 women petty traders in Ondo State with a sum of 50,000 naira each for business recapitalization. The First Lady also paid a courtesy visit to the Akure residence of National Leader of Afenifere, Pa Ruben Fashoranti, where she conveyed President Bola Tinubu's good wishes to the 98-year-old leader. Earlier at a meeting with traditional rulers in the state, the First Lady renewed her appeal for them to throw their weight behind current efforts by her initiative to scale down prevalence of HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, cervical cancer, as well as child and maternal mortality in the country. From Akure in Ondo State, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We pause for a break. We will be right back. Don't go away. You're welcome back. To commemorate Jesus' act of washing the feet of his 12 disciples at the Last Supper, symbolizing both his profound love and example of how Christians should serve one another, worshippers at Our Lady Queen of Nigeria Catholic Pro Cathedral performed this significant exercise led by the bishop. Feet washing is said to serve as a reminder of the need for spiritual cleansing and a call to imitate Christ's example of true leadership by service.
Not only our feet, but our hearts also, because our hearts need to be clean. If we must love in our society, love in our families, love in our country, we must have a clean heart. And Jesus washes our hearts when we come to meet him in the Eucharist. If he does not wash your heart, then you cannot participate fully.
Catholic Church, the ritual of feet washing is now associated with the liturgy of Holy Thursday, the day that celebrates Christ's Last Supper. To legislative matters now, Speaker, House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas has requested the European Union to scale up economic investments in Africa, moving beyond election monitoring and security training. Speaker Abbas stated this when the European Union ambassador to Nigeria and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Guche Migno, visited him at the National Assembly. The Speaker urged the EU to capitalize on Trump's administration's reduction of financial grants to boost investment in African countries. He pledges the National Assembly's willingness to collaborate with the European Union in all areas of endeavors. Ambassador Mino describes Nigeria as a key and strategic partner in Africa, while advocating stronger ties between the EU Parliament and Nigeria's National Assembly. Now to the energy sector. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority conducted an impromptu night inspection of petrol stations to identify those under-dispensing fuel. Several stations were caught shortchanging customers, leading to immediate sanctions, including sealing of pumps and station closures. Lydia Sampson reports.
In a bid to curb under-dispensing of petrol, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, embarked on an impromptu inspection of petrol stations in Abuja and its environs. The strategic move, which started in the day and lasted into the night, aims to identify and penalize stations involving under-dispensing, ensuring consumers receive accurate quantity of fuel for their money. The North Central Regional Coordinator for the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Majid Abdul Kadri, emphasized the agency's commitment to ensuring consumers get value for money and warned that offenders will face stiff penalties.
By the time we seal a station completely, the traffic in that station will move to another station, and before you know it, a queue will be created, and the impression will be that there's scarcity. So we don't want to send that wrong signal to the public. That's why we seal pump by pump. And today alone, we have sealed over 20 pumps.
She reiterated that these enforcement actions aligns with NMDPRA's ongoing efforts to regulate fuel distribution, promote safety, and eradicate illegal operations across Nigeria. Motorists applauded the NMDPRA enforcement action.
It's actually a pandemic. Like most of the filling stations, their meters are normally not, regular. I don't know how they do it, but
if they can do the way they are doing, I think it's good, and it's going to help the poor in this country.
The authority is determined to deter malpractices and ensure a safe, fair, and just fuel distribution system. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
MTN Nigeria has created another pathway to help millions of children in the country get involved in emerging technologies and the digital economy. Ayodeji Makinde reports the latest pathway from the MTN Foundation is the launching of a skills academy in Abuja.
The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2030, 170 million new digital jobs will be created, while 92 million jobs will be displaced when the digital economy fully impacts on every sphere of human endeavor. As Nigeria makes significant impact in this field, MTN Foundation identifies core digital skills captured under its new vision through the Digital Skills Academy.
Digital skills are an essential currency in the global job market today. They shape the way we work and learn and challenge our ability to adapt and grow.
You go through like 10 to 15 courses, and then you're truly certified as a practitioner. And so you have courses like cloud computing and a whole lot more. And I think that is the unique selling point.
Your effort will not only go towards building these young people, but also help us shape the workforce that we require to drive innovation and make our nation a lot more competitive and inclusive.
And there came a panelist session to amplify the mission and vision of the Skills Academy and why it becomes imperative at this time. MTN Foundation maintains that it is creating a future-ready workforce, brimming with confidence, innovation, and creativity. Before I sign out on this report, remember to sign in to www.skillsacademy.mtn.com to get started and explore various digital tech training opportunities to become practitioners with globally recognized certificates. In Abuja, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
The federal government says Nigeria is determined to create opportunities for a more innovative approach towards tackling post-harvest loss among farmers in the country. Minister of State, Trade and Investment Senator John Eno stated this in Kano while inaugurating a 10 billion naira onion storage facility established in the state. Aminu Umar tells us more.
Kano farmers are among the leading producers of onion in the country, with current production capacity put at about 2 million metric tons. The main challenge faced by farmers is lack of storage facility, which causes high rate of post-harvest loss.
Every season, millions of naira worth of onion are lost due to inadequate storage, leaving farmers disheartening and the nation being shortchanged.
The first few months of his administration, a total sum of about 200 billion was committed to the growth of industry. That is why when the budget was with the National Assembly, the president added an additional 500 billion to the portfolio of the Bank of Industry to enable it and to make it stronger.
We propose the establishment of National Council, Onion Council, a regulatory and promotional body to oversee quality.
The minister maintained that the initiative has aligned with President Tinubu's agenda that aims to increase income for farmers and create more job opportunities for Nigerian youth. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
Now, import dependency is still a major concern in Nigeria. The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NSENI, is working to change the narrative by promoting local production as a key tool for job creation and national development. Now, in view of this, NSENI engaged key stakeholders in Osogbo to chart a new course for the future of locally made products in Nigeria. Femi Afariagun reports.
At the focus group meeting tagged Made in Nigeria for Everyone, stakeholders from government, technology, education, and the private sector brainstormed on how best to harness the potentials of locally manufactured products. The National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, says part of its mandate is to build a future where Nigerians are able to solve Nigeria's problems.
At NASENI, our 3 C's, collaboration, creation, and commercialization, are not just a slogan. They are a tested framework for turning innovations from concepts to market-ready realities.
It's an eye-opener that, yes, there's an agency of government that is truly interested in promoting made in Nigeria products.
NASENI should be able to leverage on this and create more awareness. Let people be aware that these items are being produced in Nigeria and are of good standard.
NASENI used the event to showcase some of its homegrown innovations and products. In Osogbo, Femi Afariagun, NTA News.
11 years after the abduction of the Chibok girls, the Borno State government has visited the community to commemorate the day, reaffirming its commitment to supporting the families of the abducted girls. The commemoration held at Chibok local government area brought together government officials, religious leaders, and grieving parents in a show of unity. Tina Toro has the details.
Government and families converged once again in Chibok, not in mourning, but in solemn remembrance and cautious hope of the 276 schoolgirls taken from Government Girls Secondary School Chibok in an attack that shook not just Borno State, but the entire world. 11 years later, 189 girls have been rescued, but 87 remain unaccounted for.
Quite a number of them are in the custody of the Borno State government. Others are in Yola. Some are settled with their families here. Some others have been sent abroad.
Member representing Chibok at the State House of Assembly, Pogu Lawan, and the council's chairman, Modu Mustafa, echoed the community's appreciation for the state government's unyielding efforts, calling for sustained action until every family is reunited with their daughter and peace is fully restored to the land. For the parents, words may never heal the depth of their sorrow, but the consistent government support has given them a sense of shared grief and strength. Meanwhile, 18 of the rescued girls are currently receiving psychosocial support, vocational training, and academic tutorials to prepare them for their WAEC examination. In Maiduguri, Tina Toro, NTA News.
Politics. The governing All Progressives Congress FCT chapter has held a unity rally in support of continuity for the renewed hope agenda under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that the area council chairman of Abuja Municipal, Christopher Zaka, officially dumped the PDP and joined the governing APC during the rally.
It is the first mega rally in the FCT under the renewed hope government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and scores of party supporters turned out in solidarity for continuity and progress of the incumbent national government. The ceremony, which brought together heavyweight politicians of the APC extraction, also welcomed thousands of people, including the present chairman of Abuja Municipal Area Council, Christopher Zaka, into the APC fold.
The elders of FCT, the youth wing of FCT, the women wing of FCT, all of them will be for APC for are going to win landslide by the grace of God. Landslide, inshallah. Are we ready? Yes! Are we ready? Yes!
Former and present political office holders, party leadership at the 6 area councils and the North Central Zone unanimously backed the call for the president to continue beyond 2027. As the momentum of the atmosphere went high, the crowd rolled out drums and the ovation of the popular rendition of Onion Mandate We Shall Stand tickets in the air. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
There's so much more after the break. Do stay with NTA. You're watching NTA Network News. Time now to bring in Benny Adams for more on business. Hello, Benny.
Thank you, Jimmy. And now talking business, the federal government has continued to demonstrate determination to change the narrative usually associated with micro, small, and medium enterprises in accessing loans and grants. This is as the launch of the 200 billion naira presidential loans and grants took place in Cross River State, being implemented by the Bank of Industry. Minister of State for Industry John Owen Eno at a town hall meeting in Calabar, Cross River State, highlights some of other components of the new national loan scheme for MSMEs. Maureen Leo Ajom has the details.
Small and medium enterprises are said to be the engine room of Nigeria's growth and progress. However, this sector has over the years been grappling with the challenges of non-access to funding, high interest rate and institutional exclusion. Minister of State for Industry John Owen Eno says President Tinubu's administration has captured these challenges in various ways with a view to changing the narrative while also strengthening the Bank of Industry to drive the cause. The minister therefore charged the citizenry to take responsibility and mobilize themselves to access the funds.
For the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, government is now determined to change this narration for the better. It is with the present administration that the Bank of Industry has gotten more enablement to be able to function and to deliver.
Between the Bank of Industry and the minister, they were able to convince Mr. President that, sir, if we can give an SME a bit more, they might be able to do more with their businesses. So they raised the single obligor for one person to 5 million naira. Interest rate of 9%. There is nowhere in this country you will find it. Nowhere. You must take advantage of it, cross-reference. You must.
The 200 billion intervention is not just about figures. It is about lives. It is about a woman in a rural community like a Kori who wants to expand her small trading business.
The representative of the Cross River State Governor, the Commissioner for Wealth Creation, stated this Cross River State government preparedness to access these funds in partnership with the Bank of Industry. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA.
Now, at a time Nigerians are losing billions of naira to Ponzi scheme, the Securities and Exchange Commission states that Crypto Bridge Exchange, also known as CBEX, was not granted registration by the Commission at any time to operate as a digital asset exchange. The SEC also emphasized that pursuant to the provisions of Section 196 of the Investment and Securities Act 2025, the Commission would collaborate with relevant law enforcement agencies to take appropriate enforcement action against CBEX, its affiliates and promoters. Meanwhile, we bring you excerpts of a conversation earlier on our Business Express today.
Like the CBEX we are talking about, it borrowed the name from the name of a Chinese exchange. It is not really the Chinese exchange that has set up this. Now, they borrowed the name to give it a semblance of legality. It is not legal. And even globally, the economy is not doing well. So it will be difficult for somebody to promise you 100% return. Though, yes, the higher the return, the higher the risk, but it is not realistic. Now, if somebody comes with those promises of high returns, think, what business is that person doing? Where is that person investing those funds? What is the cost that person is incurring in running that business to the extent that the person will make profit take his own part of the profit and give you 100% return. It doesn't make sense. Now, somebody will tell you, invite friends and family to come. It is a red flag. You ask them who regulates you, they say, oh, we are affiliated to so-so-so in Canada, so-so-so in Hong Kong, and so on, which is not true. Why didn't you say you are regulated by a Nigerian regulator where the investor can verify your claims?
Well, choose wisely when investing. Now, a look at Nigerian exchange. The Nigerian exchange closed on the bright side, retracting the previous session's loss as investors renewed interest in some key stocks. As such, the all-share index actually rose 37 basis points. They closed at 104,233.81 basis points, up from 103,851.88 basis points on Wednesdays. And investors also gained 240 billion naira as market capitalization increased to 65.50 trillion naira. Looking at Nigerian exchange, it appreciated by 0.38 to close at 104. The South Africa JSE top 40 is at 0.33 loss to close at 82,262.13 basis point. While the Tunisia Tune Index is still in the green zone, appreciating marginally by 0.02% to close at 11,107.25 basis point. Well, I'm waiting for you to be part of this investment.
You know, Benny, it's like we just can't learn our lessons most of the time, and we end up being victims of these Ponzi schemes. It's such a sad, sad situation there. Now, moving on, Chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Governor Abdul Razak of Kwara State, has, on behalf of the forum, commiserated with the government and people of Plateau State over the outbreak of new violence in parts of the state. A statement from the forum appealed to everyone to unite and embrace lasting peace on the plateau, and commended Governor Caleb Mutfwang for dousing tension and effectively managing the situation. Now to bilateral relations. Arrangements have been concluded to revive the Nigeria-Niger Joint Commission, NNJC. This was when Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, embarked on a working visit to his Nigerian counterpart and expressed the need to as well set up a joint consultative forum that will bring together all relevant stakeholders to address common challenges and explore further opportunities to mutually benefit both countries. Garba Nata'ala reports.
A one-day diplomatic engagement of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, while in Niamey, the capital of Niger, speaks volumes of Nigeria's desire in sustaining the long-standing relations with its neighbor. Tugar met his counterpart, Bakari Sangare, Minister of Foreign Affairs Cooperation and Nigerians abroad. The two ministers examined the challenges facing both countries and addressed the major current issues at the sub-regional, regional, and international levels.
And each town, each region has a corresponding region on the other side of the border, you know, the same cultural area. So we need to take advantage of this to address a lot of our issues, and trade should continue, and security cooperation should continue. And the backbone, the fulcrum of all of this is the Nigeria-Niger Joint Commission.
Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Permanent Secretary Umar Dunama read the joint communique issued at the end of the meeting, bordering on economic cooperation, especially in operationalization of cross-border markets, trade and energy. The joint infrastructure projects along Kano, Katsina, Jibia, Maradi Railway, the construction of Trans-Haram gas pipeline, Trans-Haram subway, Trans-Haram fiber optic, bilateral air services, local bilateral committees, tariffs and taxes were all among issues streamlined.
The two ministers called upon the ministries of defense of both countries to continue their security cooperation.
The outcome made both parties fulfilled, with the hope of forging ahead for the Nigerian authorities now to reciprocate the visit. From Niger, I am Garba Muhammad Nata'ala, NTA News.
Coming up tonight, special package on the Minister of Information and National Orientation engagements in Paris by 10 or 5 p.m. immediately after network news on the network service of the NTA. Do stay tuned and listen. And to reduce talent drain and grow regional music industries, the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy has signed a memorandum of understanding to ensure creative opportunities are utilized. Elizabeth Omori reports that the latest partnership is with Chocolate City.
Belong to me and I belong to
Music, a universal language, has the power to evoke emotions and bring people together through artistic prowess. In Nigeria, the entertainment industry over the years has shared incredible talents with the world, raking in billions and creating jobs. To promote their talents, help them reap more benefits to compete favorably on the global scene, this partnership is paramount.
Job creation. There's a number of young Nigerians, and I know it has really become quite banal when I speak about how important this sector is. But every young Nigerian, no matter what community you go to, has the ability to create content on their phone, to create music, to create art. So we want to leverage on that.
Our focus for the partnership is around building infrastructure. Is about teaching young people about the intellectual property, because you see that is the cornerstone of any creative endeavor in Nigeria.
Hannah too hinted that small-scale life arenas will be developed nationwide to provide the much-needed performance spaces as well as talent development programs to nurture the next generation of creators. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
NTA Network News, we'll be back shortly. You're welcome back, and now to our survey results. We have tallied the results of tonight's survey, asking what is the primary reason many Nigerians remain susceptible to Ponzi schemes, despite their frequent failures. Here's what the results are saying. Greed and desire for quick profits tops with 42%. Economic hardship is a smaller but vocal group with 28%. Lack of financial education literacy follows with 18%. And lastly, trust in informal community networks comes up with 12%. However you can look at it, these results spotlight a fractured system and reiterate an urgent need for solutions. And that's NTA Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf.